All right, let it be known that this podcast, we try and hold ourselves in a high regard. We hold ourselves to a higher standard than most podcasts out there. Jack and I try and have some sort of journalistic integrity. We want to be fair. We want to be balanced. We want to be truthful in all that we do. So with all bias aside, it is my honor to introduce the greatest wide receiver in NFL history, a man that you guys know as NWI, just because you're probably a little too scared to say his last name. He is arguably our favorite Indiana Hoosier of all time. Sorry, Buck. He has 41 catches, 509 yards, and 4 scores. Shout out, Honest Abe, on his career. And he's coming off of a career high after coming onto this podcast last offseason. So I find those two to be, look, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. You can follow him on Instagram at Nick Westbrook-15 for maybe like 2 or 3 photos a year. He's number 15 in your playbook, but number 1 in this podcast's heart. He is Nick Westbrook-Ikhine.
There we go. Oh, yeah.
Nailed it. All right, good. Because I don't know if you remember this, Nick, but last time you came on the podcast, last offseason, you let me go the entire interview, butchering your last name. And then on the way out the door, you're like, oh, by the way, this is how it's pronounced. Yeah. And I was just like, cool.
That's
cool.
That's on me. Yeah, I got to hold you to a higher standard.
But, Nick, we got to get it straight for everyone else, because I still hear people, whether it's on TV, the radio, just talking to people, Titans fans around the city. Yeah, they're saying Ikhine. Tell the folks how to pronounce the last name. One last time.
See, it's Ikhine, but I always used to think it was Ikhine, so like that's on me. I think I told the media when they asked me to phonetically spell it, Ikhine, and then it was like that's not. I found out that wasn't the right way, so that's on me.
Do you ever go back and watch like the TV broadcasts of your games? Because that is one of my favorite things about watching Titans games is like whenever you make a catch, the hearing, like it's always such a treat to hear how the announcer or the broadcaster is going to pronounce it, because you will get a wide range. And then in the highlights, like you scored a few times this year. Yeah. So you're making it on the highlights. And like the guys who do like the studio shows trying to pronounce your name, it is some of the best entertainment that we got from the Titans this season.
Yeah. I haven't really watched any of the TV copies after the fact, but I would see like the highlights and clips on social media.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. It reminds me like back in Pop Warner, like all the teams I'd go to would always butcher it because it was just Ikhine at the time. Or Ikhine, sorry. See, I even do it.
It's not easy.
Yeah. And they would always I would hear like Icon, like they were nowhere close. Like they would always mess it up. So I'm used to it at this point.
I get mad when I hear it. We had Kayla Anderson on, who does news, and she's at everything for you guys, all the media availabilities and everything. I said, Kayla, you got to spread it around to the media folks that it's Westbrook-Ikhine. I keep hearing Ikhine, and I close my fists in a ball of rage.
Yeah, it's like that Arthur meme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're gonna have to get that right. We're gonna put that out there, make sure everyone's aware. But Nick, arguably your biggest moment of the season came in the end zone.
Oh baby!
Scored a touchdown. It was against the Colts.
Oh yeah,
correct. The Colts in the end zone
at home.
The Billy White Shoes Johnson.
Yep.
Where it's some people call it the funky chicken, where you're kind of gyrating your knees inwards and outwards.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Walk me through how you came up with that, and then just what it took to pull it off.
Yeah. First off, I didn't come up with it. I won't take credit. Obviously, Billy White Shoes is the originator. He's the creator. And he'd come to practice, I think, that Friday. And so he kind of spoke to us along with some of the other Titans legends that were at the game. And I knew he was at the game. And honestly, I scored and low-key kind of just blacked out and didn't really know what to do. And I in the back of my head, I was like, I saw those highlights, I think that day of the game or the night before, of him scoring and doing the dance and them yelling Billy White Shoe. And so that was just the first thing that came in my head as soon as I got in the end zone. I was like, I got to do it. I wear white cleats all the time. It's only fitting. to pay homage to one of the greats.
Well,
And that was the week. That was the week.
Was so perfect.
Dude, you nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
As Jack said, those knees were gyrating.
Oh yeah, after that, I don't think I could ever live that one down. All my teammates would just like Matthias would always, he's like a good friend of mine, just like golfing buddy, and all the time he just goes like this and just like making fun of me. Luke, Jack's met Luke. He'll always just like my buddy from Indiana. He always like Billy White shoes anytime we go out. Like, like I can't live it down. It was a good move branding wise, I think.
I wish you could have seen how giddy Jack and I were that week. Like just right after it happened, the dance, and then even the whole week after. Our episode that week was the Nick Westbrook-Ikhine episode of. And like we dedicated the whole episode to you. We got Joe Rexroad on, who's like another leader of the NWI fan club, and we brought him on. We celebrated. It was incredible. I'm gonna say it because I honestly I don't even know who's even second, but it was the greatest Titans end zone dance of the season.
No doubt.
Hey, I think I made it top 5 in the celebrations, I think, in the social media grab. So
oh my gosh! Out of the entire NFL or out of?
Oh no, the Titans.
You should not be top 5. You're definitely that was the best celebration, and I loved because that was the week that the Oilers / Titans were honored at halftime, right?
Yeah. So that's where it came about. I knew he was there.
See, it was like it tied in so perfectly.
Yeah,
it was incredible. And so now that we're talking about touchdown dances, Nick, what would it take to just level with me here? What would it take to get some sort of NWI TUP like connection after a touchdown? Because let's be honest, like you're gonna score. You had 4 this season alone. Like you're going to have a number of touchdowns next season. It's only a matter of time. So it's not a matter of if you score, it's when you score.
Right.
I don't know. I've got a few ideas. Can I run them by you?
Shark Tank.
Austin,
okay, Shark Tank.
For the listeners that didn't catch his first interview with us, we asked him last season to maybe throw in a TUP, like you're doing the YMCA.
Yes.
Give him a TUP.
Yeah,
and
see, that was
scored in Indianapolis and did the IU. And I was like, okay, the next one's the TUP. It's coming up. He's running out of celebration.
Pretty much.
I got so giddy. I thought when I saw him throw up the IU, I was like, oh, it's the Hoosiers. But I'm glad Jack brought that up because hello, Sharks. I'm Austin. This is Jack. We are the co-founders of the Tighten Up podcast, and we have got a pitch for you today. And the first pitch is the TUP after a touchdown. It's not extremely subtle. So, you probably get a lot of questions about it after the game, which is fine. You can answer those just by saying Tighten Up podcast, available wherever podcasts are found.
That'll help our engagements. Yeah. And listens.
Sure. Yeah. It'll put us on the map. Or here, and this one's a little more subtle.
I like
you just throw it up into the air. It's a wolf. Okay. I don't know if you know this or not, but NWI sounds a lot like NWO. And I don't remember if you're a wrestling fan at all, but the NWO, the Wolf Pack, guys like Hulk Hogan back in the day, WCW wrestling, they used to throw up the Wolf Pack, the wolf. Okay. So this one's a little more subtle. You could just, after a score, just kind of hoist it up and do that. And that's an homage to us, the leaders of the Wolf Pack, the NWI Wolf Pack, because we are the leaders of the fan club.
Yeah. Which one has more ROI?
The TUP would probably get you some NIL action.
Yeah.
What do you think, though? What do you think?
There's a chance the wolf could make its way out there. I like it.
Okay.
That's a chance.
My favorite animal growing up as a kid, so it makes it easy for me.
Well, there you go. Yeah, and see, and we are we will start it, and we will put all of our efforts and all of our social media efforts behind this wolf pack. And everyone that listens to this podcast loves you. I want you to know that.
The wolf pack.
Yeah, and so we already have a bunch of wolves in this club already.
There we go.
So I'm just, the NWI Wolfpack, just think about it.
Just
Like
think
it.
about
Sit
it.
on it.
Yeah.
You got an entire off season to dwell on it. But just remember, once you, do cross that goal line, when, Ryan Tannehill zips a pass right across the middle,
Yeah.
boom, touchdown, just that. And then
It could be after a blocked punt as well, as long as you don't rough the punter like you did this year.
That one hurt. That one hurt the pockets a little bit.
So, Nick, seriously though,
Jack, you gotta wait. You gotta give that one a little bit more space. Like we're trying to pitch him on a touchdown dance, and then you bring up the blocked punt, man, or the roughing the punter.
yeah,
I had to pay for that one. That one was a little tough.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But seriously though, year 2 for you, what an awesome year. I mean, you were second in the team in receiving yards, second in receiving touchdowns, second in catches. Did you see this coming really? I know that you've put in a lot of time in this past offseason. Vrabel gave you an offseason award, and obviously you know what you're capable of, but did you expect this big of a season in year 2? I mean, you're an undrafted guy just 2 years ago.
Yeah. To be honest, no, really didn't expect it. I kind of just took the approach going into this season to just roll with whatever is in front of me. Because I was coming off, my first year, got hurt that last game of the first year against the Ravens. I don't even think really people didn't even really know because it was that last 2-minute drive, and I had a pretty bad injury, had to have surgery on my ankle and everything. And then so really wasn't expecting much going into camp, going into that second year. I was like, man, it's gonna be a tough year. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to make it. So I really was just, my whole goal was just trying to make the team to start the year out. And I was just blessed with the opportunities I got. So I was super thankful that I was able to get those opportunities. It sucked that it was at the expense of some injuries, but try to make the most of it,
And heading into this past season, that wide receiver room was about as stacked as it could be top to bottom. I mean, everybody knows about A.J. Brown and obviously Julio who came in last year, but you had guys like Marcus Johnson, yourself, Des Fitzpatrick, Chester Rogers, all in there jockeying for positions. Mason Kinsey was on the practice squad. Yeah. But I mean, there are a lot of things that had to happen, a lot of dudes that you had to kind of separate yourself from. I want to know about the Julio Jones experiment for you. Titans brought him in for 1 year. Obviously, he's older and kind of banged up at this point of his career. But a veteran receiver, probably the best receiver in the last 10 years in the NFL, comes to the Titans. You're heading into your second year. What was that like, kind of learning from him, watching him? And did you guys have any conversations where, maybe a light turned on in your head or something kind of just changed for you as a player?
Yeah, I mean, it was huge. Just when I just remember when he first came in and just that off season, when he came in, we started running routes on our own before OTAs and everything, started, and or not after OTAs, but before training camp. And I just remember just watching him and just learning just by watching, learning by osmosis, just watching him work, the way he worked, how his work ethic, and then also him being a bigger receiver. I feel it's easier to kind of watch a guy like that and be okay, I can translate that. I can try to do what he's doing and put that into my game. So it started off there, just watching. And then once he was in the receiver room and we were having meetings, I feel he wanted to teach, it wasn't I had to really pry and ask. He was just wanted to give as much knowledge as he could to all the younger guys. So it was an awesome experience for me. And I hope he finds his way somewhere, can find some success, because it was a great year having him in that receiver room. And obviously, I mean, he's a Hall of Fame receiver. So just be able to say that I played with him for 1 season is going to be something I'll be able to tell my kids and stuff. So it'll be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And, every offseason now is interesting for the Titans. They cut Julio, and their move, the move that followed that was they traded for Robert Woods. So you got a new, coworker in the wide receiver room, if you will. Have you talked to Robert Woods, and what have you kind of gauged in your conversations, if you have spoken to him?
Yeah, we had a brief conversation today, actually, for the first time. I came in and he was in there in the facility, and I saw him, and it was a good talk. I mean, it wasn't anything super long, but he said, he's like, yeah, I've heard a lot about you and I'm excited to, get started. I'm like, yeah, like I remember I've been watching you the last, however many years, especially like the last 2 years here with the Titans, having, similar offenses to them. So a lot of times we've watched film and seen kind of how he practices, or not how he practices, but how he plays, like having similar plays and his technique and craft. So I've already learned from him without even meeting him. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen now that he's going to be in the room.
What was your favorite moment from last season?
Oh man. That's
your personal favorite. Like now, obviously,
for
like
only
team.
me?
Was it?
Like you're saying, like for only me?
Yeah, for only you. Yeah.
So a selfish favorite moment.
Oh yeah. As selfish as you can get, preferably.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be like that first touchdown was probably my favorite one. Or I'd say both of the Colts touchdowns were my favorite touchdowns, or like favorite moments of the year. The one at home, obviously it being my first one. I think the other one was my second one. And so the first one was really awesome because like one of my best friends from high school was like huge fan of mine, like throughout high school and college, has been in the Marines like ever since. And like, it was like first time, like being able to come to like a pro game of mine. Like he didn't get to go like the whole first year because like he was always doing stuff, and then like he was deployed in Kabul at one point before that Indy game, and so he came down and he always talks about like, I already know it, like when I come, like you're gonna score your first touchdown. He'd always like in high school he'd always joke like, you're gonna have this many today, and I gotta have that many. I remember in high school he photoshopped like my picture on like Superman and like put it on a sweater and like he was all for it. So he was at that game, and like some of like my best friends, and obviously like my girlfriend was there. And so it was just, I remember before that game, like we're doing the whole national anthem. I think they do the flyover, and I was like, man, this is just like a special moment. Like he was just serving for us, and now he's here and he's gonna get to watch me play. And then so when I scored, I was like, man, that's just special that he's here. And then the second one would be at Indy. And so all my girlfriend's family's from Indy. They all at the game. My parents were able to go up to that game for the first time. I think it was like Halloween. They got to like spend Halloween together. Like both of our parents got to hang out for one of the first times, and then scored that touchdown, got to do the whole IU thing. It was just kind of like a full circle moment. So those two are really special to me.
Yeah, it was that cool
Being like the aura around it, like everything behind the game. That was
yeah. Cool. Like being back in the Hoosier state and get to throw up a touchdown in that game. That's pretty awesome. Now I want to ask you about a play in particular.
Yep.
I believe it was week 18. Ryan Tannehill somehow became friggin' Houdini, escape artist, got out of a sack and finds a wide open NWI down the sideline.
Yeah.
During that play.
Yep.
Be honest, like you're thinking, oh great, here's a sack and we're gonna have to punt again. And then and then he escapes and you're thinking, oh crap, I gotta make it look like I was doing something on film.
Yeah, I remember just
to be open.
And I remember the DB that was guarding me at the time. I don't even remember who it was. Everyone thought it was a sack. Like he started like kind of like walking. So like I just saw his demeanor and I'm like, okay, well, and next thing I know, I just hear like the crowd roaring. I'm like, all right, well, there's something up. So I just start backing up. And the next thing I know, I don't even think I see Ryan actually roll out. I don't see him. I just see a ball come up like from behind.
Oh, damn.
And I'm like, all right, well, this has got to be the only to me. Like I know no one else is over here. So that was a crazy play. I actually wish, I'm still upset because I wish I scored on that play. I feel like I could have got a stiff arm in there, but that was a crazy moment. I don't know how we got out of there, but that was a huge play for us.
It was shades of Steve McNair, who Titans fans, I mean, so close to their hearts. The escapability there, which Tannehill, when he's doing that, when he's on the move, he's one of the better quarterbacks in the conference. Yeah. Kind of improvising with receivers down the field. Mm-hmm. You talked about your experience with Julio Jones. What's it been like being a teammate with AJ Brown for now 2+ years?
Yeah, and that's been awesome too. in a similar way. I mean, like bigger receiver, and also like he wants to help out, he wants to teach. And I think we're technically both like the same age. He just came out a year before me. And so it's also cool, like being, he's a younger guy. He's still like figuring stuff out. So like as he's learning and growing more, I get to like watch him and grow with him. And I mean, he's an amazing player too. So just watching him it's a treat to me as a receiver to watch him play wide out is awesome.
So it is, by the way, and watching you guys on the field at the same time is a treat. I mean, Tannehill, he loves these big catch radiuses. He loves his receivers tall and strong. But the way the season ended, it sucked. And I know it sucked for you guys too. Titans fans were upset as well. I mean, you get your bye, you're the number 1 seed, defense is playing well, and just turnovers come up and kill you. What was I know the game hurt, but what was the aftermath like? I mean, I know that Ryan Tannehill and yourself and A.J. Brown and everybody who's on the field, Julio as well, you guys had that had to have stung. But was there a conversation afterwards, like, we're not going to let this happen again? You just kind of take me through what happened in the aftermath of that loss.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of heavy hearts. I feel like just more than anything, I mean, speaking for myself, I'm not sure exactly how everybody else was, but it was like when you expect something to happen, you're almost like so sure it's gonna happen, and then all of a sudden, like you blink your eye and like you're like, how did it not happen? Basically, that's just how I felt. Like in my head, I'm like, we're winning this game, we're winning the next, we're gonna end up, February, we're Super Bowl weekend, like we're gonna be there. Like that's just kind of how I felt, and that's kind of to me how the vibe of just the whole locker room felt, and within our group on offense and everything. So yeah, it was just a tough pill to swallow. And yeah, I think the vibe was just, like kind of like you said, like we just can't let this happen again.
Yeah. And you were targeted. You were targeted on that last play of the game.
Yeah.
Have you rewatched that? It was number one, it was a tough throw to make and even a tougher catch to make. But I don't know. I don't want to ask you how it felt, but have you kind of watched that over again and been like, what could I have done better? What could we have done better? Where could we have been? How does that go in the film? Kind of, it's got to be tough to watch the film of the game that sent you guys home.
Yeah. I don't even think I didn't really want to watch it that right away. So and I think I just haven't done it yet, but it was that was tough because right after it happens, like just how I am, I kind of wanted, like, I felt like it was it was my fault, and I still do believe part of it was definitely my fault. I feel like I could have ran a better route, and that's how always going to be a shoulda, coulda, woulda, and can't live that way. It's just what happened, and just got to learn from it. So more than anything, I was honored that he was throwing it to me on such a crucial play of the game, and just sucks the outcome that happened. But yeah, it was meaningful to be the one getting targeted when it counted the most. And yeah, I just remember I was like, oh, I'm gonna run a lot of curls this off season to get this one out of my mouth, the taste out of my mouth with that play. But yeah, I just gotta bounce back and grow from it going forward.
Have you talked to Ryan Tannehill at all this offseason? I know that a lot of Titans fans, he didn't have his best year. There's a lot of variables around that. There were a lot of injuries on the offensive line, at the receiver position. Derrick Henry went down at a point. Have you talked much to Ryan Tannehill after the season? And is he kind of in that same mindset as you? Like, hey, we're gonna work this offseason. We're gonna make sure this doesn't happen again. What have your conversations with him been like?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to him today. And yeah, he wants to get to work. So that's really that's what I know from him. And I feel like just watching him, he always wants to work and get better and try to set himself up to have a great season and find ourselves in a championship. So yeah, I'm excited to be able to start working with him this off season, whether it's as soon as possible, really. So I just know that's what he's geared to do, and I feel like that's what he's ready to do.
Let me say a quick word about our friends at Relax the Back. CEO Glenn Word has made it his mission to not just enhance sleep, but enhance lives. Glenn was involved in a very serious car accident many years ago and was looking down the barrel of multiple surgeries to correct many different issues with his posture, his back, his neck. But before going under the knife, Glenn sought out preventative measures to correct his body through sleep technology, posture improvement, you name it. Over the course of time, Glenn's body self-corrected and he managed to avoid any procedures, which is what makes Relax the Back a passion project of his. The Relax the Back team sets out every day to help people in Nashville work better, live better, and feel better every single day. If you're like me and struggle with insomnia or posture issues or, just being awake when you should be asleep, this is the place for you. With a variety of chairs that combat neck and back pain for those of us who are sitting all day at work, along with Technogel and Tempur-Pedic pillows and mattresses to maximize your sleep every night, the Relax the Back team will make sure you are waking up and feeling great every day. Go check them out. 2020 Glen Echo Road in Nashville. It's right across the road from the Green Hills Regal Movie Theater. It's over in that shopping center area, if you know what I'm talking about. If you're unable to get there, no problem. Check them out online. stores.relaxtheback.com/Nashville and start feeling better today. When you head in and you see Glenn, he'll help you get fixed up with whatever it takes to make you feel better. But make sure to tell him that A to Z Sports sent you.
What are you looking forward to most next season?
I just want to get back out there and play. I mean, like the games are what make it fun. Since coming in the league and the games are what you live for, and that's when you get paid to play games at the end of the day. So it's just so much fun to play a game and just have that feeling like you're a kid again. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Do you have any goals for next year?
I haven't sat down yet. That's something I was going to do probably like before training camp and really sit down and kind of think of those. But my goals always have been like throughout like high school and college football was always was just try to help the team win is the first one. And the personal ones is always just like try to do better than what you did the last year. And I feel like that those kind of two go hand in hand if you're doing it the right way.
Well, you're taking the right first step by coming on this podcast.
Right.
So my last question about that Bengals game, what was the atmosphere like for you? Because obviously now 2 years with the Titans. Yeah. Like at the game, what was, because watching, I'm in Chicago, watching from Chicago, it seemed like one of the loudest Titans games I can remember just from watching on TV, but you were there, you were down there in the bowl. What, from an overall atmosphere standpoint, was that one of the better Titans games that you've been dressed out for?
Yeah, 100%. That game was just like electric all around. And I remember like that's what was so I guess like upsetting was like because I knew what the next one would have been like.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like after the game was over, and I'm like, man, like you knew what it was going to be. It would have been even higher, the next week. But yeah, that was amazing. Just atmosphere, like just the vibes around the stadium, the buzz around the city, all of it, all encompassing. I'm live kind of close, to the stadium in downtown area. So like I kind of feel that buzz on the way to the game when I'm driving in. And I just that's kind of one of my favorite parts about, playing is like that feeling, that anticipation before the game, driving in, seeing all the fans and all that kind of stuff. So that was one of the top two games. I'd say it's probably the best one. And then it was up there. I remember this past year or that Monday Night Football game against the Bills was also an insane one as well.
Yeah,
I was there for that one.
Yeah, and that's why the atmosphere was so great.
Yeah,
because Jack
was all
there.
from the second to last row of the stadium. I was there.
Did you see John Robinson cry?
Oh yeah,
talking about it.
Yeah.
Did you get a little emotional watching that?
Yeah, I felt that.
I felt that.
I could tell that those were real tears. So that's tough. I know he takes a lot of responsibility too. So I understand somewhat how he feels, obviously being out there.
Last one for me, Nick.
Made me emotional too. So I'm right there with you, Nick.
He's a Union City guy. This is probably his dream job. Not a lot of people's dream jobs are in the front office with small market teams, but for John Robinson, this is spot,
it's his that's his president of the United States right there.
So Nick, we've had Drew Bennett on, a former Titans receiver who he had a big year. I believe it was in 2003 or 2004 with the Titans. kind of came out of nowhere, and he was an undrafted guy like yourself. Billy Volek, Steve McNair had gotten hurt, and Billy Volek had taken over. And towards the back end of the season, he had a 4-game span where he just went off, and people would message him, hey, you helped me win my fantasy league. This year, you were, you played a big enough role in this offense where you were on some fantasy teams. Did you get any messages or texts or anything about like, hey man, need you to get 10 points for me tonight?
Yeah, definitely got those. That was the first time I started getting them, it was cool and funny, and sometimes a little like you get the DM message on Instagram, just like, yeah, I'm not responding to this one. Most of them were like that.
Oh my gosh,
it was actually funny because so Luke Timian, who's like my best friend, like from Indiana, lives here in Nashville now. And so his sister, I guess, her boyfriend drafted me, like, I think pretty early on, like almost as like a joke. And like all of his friends, like was telling all of his friends, like, oh no, you don't know about this guy. Like, I know so much. And so like, he just was so like pleasantly surprised when, as the season went on, like all of his friends were like, this guy's a guru, like he knows everything about football. Like, so I got him a little bit of credit, I guess. And Luke was dying laughing because like he knew that whole story and just watched it unfold. And yeah, I got a bunch of people from high school that were hitting me up. I'm like, you're on my fantasy team now and all this stuff. So
why wasn't I before,
Yeah, right. When you join us next year, can you promise us that we'll do a little segment with you where we just read the DMs that come through, like the hateful DMs of people?
You don't want those, especially after the Cincy game. Those were.
I'm sorry you have to deal with that.
Hey, I'll say this and I can say this because I am one. Titans fans are the worst. We are the absolute worst.
It was. I don't even know. Some of them weren't even Titans fans. It was just everyone. So.
And well, Bengals fans are the worst. Titans fans are the second worst. All right, Nick. Before we let you go, if you're cool with it, and we did this last year when we were on, but I gotta do a quick audit of your Instagram feed.
Okay.
Ooh, yes. Here we go.
All right.
Because you are self-proclaimed, like you wear this badge that you're the most handsome man on the Titans, right?
I do not wear that badge, but I know I got probably the least active social media or Instagram on the Titans. I could argue.
I would say probably in the NFL, but yes.
You're locked in, man.
Yeah. Which, by the way, guys, go give Nick Westbrook 15 a follow on Instagram. Okay. Because he is he's only posted, I believe, let me see here. Yeah, he's only posted 4 times since the last time we had him on. Okay, so you're good for one big year. One photo a quarter. Yeah. Hey, look, he had an Instagram post for every touchdown he scored. Yeah. So
I just got to post more, I guess.
Yeah. I would maybe even turn it over to like a manager, an agent, maybe girlfriend, whoever it may be.
Podcast hosts.
Yeah. Maybe us. Look, we could run a Nick Westbrook-Ikhine Instagram account without question. Which, by the way, you're still with your girlfriend?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Good. Because I didn't want to I didn't want to enter any ground where.
What if he had said no? That would have been a really awkward way to go out on this interview.
It would have been a really awkward way to go out.
To ask.
Yeah, I would have asked him something even more awkward just to get out of it. But so he's got 4 posts. The first one.
Let's see what they are.
It's you, girlfriend, and a dog. By the way, adorable dog.
Winston.
Great way.
You can give him a follow. He's probably more active.
Wasn't he at a Titans practice? I feel like he was at a Titans practice this year. Where's that boy Winston is the account?
That's his name.
Oh my. Okay. All right. You didn't even tag him in the post. You need to tag him in the post so we can get you can get your dog's clout up. So you first of all looking cute as hell, just totally adorable. You and the girlfriend holding the dog. Great way to get likes. This I think is a good post. The caption reads, "Twice around the sun now with my best friend. Thankful for the joy you bring me every day." Now, I will say, caption's a little misleading because we don't know if the best friend you're referring to is your girlfriend or the dog.
You didn't even think about that one.
Yeah. You should have.
That's why I just tagged the girlfriend, so it makes it a little bit clearer.
Okay, all right, then that explains the only why she's the only tag. The next one, you completely just ripped off a photo from the Tennessee Titans account. I know this because it's got the Tennessee Titans watermark in the lower left-hand corner, but it's you.
Still tag Donald though.
Yeah,
It's still tag Donald. That's good. That's good. You got to give the photo credit.
Yeah.
It's just year and then the emoji for the two finger signs. So the peace sign emoji. That caption is edited, so it tells me that you screwed up with the caption.
Oh, I bet you know it does that. I bet you wrote the number 2, and then you were like, what?
And then he's like,
time
no,
for the emoji.
But no, you look good there. Look good there. Walking in, you're happy. Training camp is starting. Yeah. I think we all felt those same feelings you were feeling that day.
Gotta find a 3 emoji now for this next trip.
I think they have one, don't they?
Okay, son, right? That'll work.
Yeah, I think the okay sign works.
Or just do this. Just do the I love you sign.
Yeah, that works.
3. Number 3, you've got happy birthday and okay, here we go again. The caption, it's a photo of your girlfriend standing in front of a beautifully painted mural that just says hello beautiful, and the caption reads happy birthday and International Dog Day to the most beautiful dog mom out there. Dude, this is the second caption that's misleading. Are you talking to the girlfriend or the dog? We don't know.
It's clearly both. You got to slide to the next picture. It's them sleeping together. It's a cute picture. It's wholesome.
He's got the Instagram up too.
Oh, I got it ready. Yeah,
I love it. I know. I like this is like
I defend myself.
He's literally like sitting in a review in an office building, and he's like, "All right, well, let me explain myself, please." Okay, all right, great. I look, as long as the girlfriend's still with you, clearly she doesn't mind being mistaken for a dog on your Instagram feed, so that's fine. And then last and definitely best post of the year. It's the aforementioned Billy White Shoes Johnson touchdown dance. Yeah. What a day yesterday, reads the caption. Thankful for this opportunity and being able to share moments like these with people I love, with a blue heart emoji.
Wholesome.
Very wholesome. That one sounds like an agent wrote that one. And kudos to you. You're a friggin' poet laureate, man. Well done. You got the like from the Tighten Up podcast on Instagram. Just want that to be known. And then 2,099 others. So that's
good.
You got the most likes on that touchdown post. So basically, I guess what we're getting at is
more football content.
Well, you score touchdowns, it gets you likes. Yeah. So just keep scoring touchdowns.
And if your account ever gets too big to manage by yourself, you know who to call, right?
You know exactly who to call.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think he does, and it's not
UP, the Wolfpack.
That's right. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, Nick, we are a bunch of idiots, and we appreciate you taking the time to just indulge us and partake in us. I will say this: you went on to have the best season of your career last year. We are expecting an even bigger year this year. We're excited for you. Keep working your ass off, and if any of your teammates want to have their career years, you tell them, hop on this podcast with my guys. Tighten Up podcast. That's what I guess what I'm saying is, if the Titans won a Super Bowl, you just got to send more guys our way, and then boom, and then
we still got to do we got a little more research, causation versus correlation. Just got to figure it out.
See, this guy, he knows it all.
He has watched way too much Shark Tank. Way too much.